But, I had a dream. I was in a fight. And my form was terrible, but the other guy's form was worse.
That's the secret.
So what was happening was interesting so it was kind of like positioned kind of like this. And I noticed, even in the dream, I was aware of it. I was like, my hands are so tight. They're supposed to be blah, blah, blah. But nobody was getting through. So I thought, well, this is interesting. It was about 10 or 15 seconds. I was like, you're not getting through it. So I've got a bit of time. So I just reached out and grabbed his eyeball. He went like that. Then I grabbed the other eyeball, and I just felt him kind of like fracture. And I thought, and when I woke up, I remember what you said was, whoever's willing to take the fight to a higher level. And I thought, this guy just wanted to beat somebody up. He really wasn't motivated. Right. He just wanted something easy. Losing an eye was not part of his thinking.
It's very rarely in this society that you will meet somebody who isn't just looking for an easy victory.
Yeah.
You very rarely meet a military situation where people are actually fighting for their lives or willing to kill or die for something.
Yeah.
Usually the types of attacks we deal with are people who are looking for an easy mark. Ideally, nobody wants to attack you. And there are different ways to do that. One is to just be so friendly that everybody wants to be your friend instead. The other is to be so powerful that everybody wants to be your friend. So they'll either like you or fear you. But it doesn't do anybody any good to be hated or to hate anybody, because that just turns out, and hatred is neglect or lack of awareness. So, it's like people in one country we shall not name who say, wait, why do they hate us so much? Well, step one is the fact that you don't know why. If you knew why, it might not happen. It's just like when you have shoulder tension. And if my shoulders are tense and I become aware that I have shoulder tension, I relax my shoulders. If I become aware that I'm doing something that is really making somebody unhappy, and I don't intend to do that, and I will stop doing what I'm doing. And if somebody is making you unhappy, whether by design or by neglect, then you're going to do something about it. You step on a snake, it'll bite you. You feed hot sauce to a Rottweiler, you deserve what you get. And a lot of this push hands training is learning what not to fight. Right?
This is what was happening. Thinking, oh my God, this is so terrible.
But here's the thing. Like you said, if you have a higher level of skill than the other person, your poor skill will work.
Yeah, that's what happens.
So here, this works because I'm fighting against it. So this is a solid structure. And what you're doing right now is you're reaching that point where the afferent connection is so natural that you don't have to do anything to make me not want to do anything to you. Okay? So you're here. You don't have to use force or tension. You just have that connection. And what you're using is 4 ounces of pressure, and I can't get through it. It's not that you're using 4 ounces to deflect what I'm doing. You're using 4 ounces to make my push ineffective. Even as I try to, I'm not deflected. I'm still actually pushing your center. Right? It's going right into your center. And yet there's no pressure building up.
Right.
So I can't apply more than 4 ounces of pressure because of the shape and because of the alignment.
So that's something I've misunderstood for a long time.
Everybody does, yeah.
So I was thinking that the 4 ounces was used to actually press, but what you're saying is 4 ounces is to neutralize.
Right.
And so therefore, it just becomes, it goes to 0 and then it becomes my choice.
Right. Yeah, so the 4 ounces of pressure is the maximum that I am able to apply to you because of the structure and the shape of it, not that there is pressure and then you're moving and using 4 ounces to move that off to the side. The principle is a matter of perspective. It goes back to that afferent and efferent power. So the afferent is here, if you're just connecting it to the ground. And this goes back to that conservation of momentum demo from the last video. Because people say, well, how are you getting the mass? Where are you recruiting the mass? Are you using leverage? Is it using force? Are you using action-reaction against the ground? So you're applying pressure to the ground and it's coming back up? If this were efferent power, yes. If it were external power, that's what I would be doing. But this is internal power. So what you're doing instead is, as I push, you're not pushing against the ground. You're just creating a structure that causes me to push against the ground. So you're recruiting more mass. So when you improve your alignment...
Just give me, so how am I recruiting more mass?
The structure and the alignment that you have right here, you are taking my push and directing it into the ground so that my push hits the earth.
Okay.
That's different from external power where you would push off the ground to push that, to push that, to push that, to push me.
Okay.
So if you were using external power, then you would be telling your body to push the ground and push me. So you would be pushing the ground and pushing me. But in this case, you're not. You're using internal power, which means that it's going inside. So my power goes through you, it goes inside. It's that centripetal engagement with the ground, it's that afferent connection. So as I push, it's going into the ground, so I'm pushing you, and I cannot, for the life of me, increase the amount of pressure on that arm. Because if I'm pushing onto the ground, if I'm pushing in there, then you're recruiting mass and you're maintaining that. Now you're using a little bit of distal pressure there. If you can, there you go. Now there's no, and see how effortless that is? Yeah. Okay, there's no way for me to push hard. I can't from this angle. I can do this. All I can do is push myself. I can't push you.
So the mass I'm recruiting is the earth.
Right, and this is why people, when I train with people who've done other martial arts, I train with people who do jiu-jitsu or they do karate or they do other things, one of the things I often hear is, I have never felt anything like that before. And it's very difficult to figure out because your power comes from not doing nothing, right. Not from doing, not from adding force on force, but from redirecting the incoming force and from creating a structure that receives it. It's a very yin strategy, but it's not yielding.
Right.
You're taking the other person's power and you're putting it right into the ground. You could call this what they call it borrowing power. Mm-hmm. But and so when I'm doing there, it's just like I can't find your center. I slide off. Mm-hmm. And it's like a boat going through the water. It's like you're like a hot knife cutting through the fog. So there, I cannot find your center, and you're sticking to it like that. So when I punch, if you watch the thumbs again, and engage. So see if you can do with the hand what you were doing with that arm there, because sometimes the right arm is a little better than the left. Now you're pushing me to the side, and I can, as soon as you.
You know what? I can feel it with the poles. With this arm, it's just like. This one, I have to. Mm-hmm. It's definitely not as good with this one.
What did Oscar Peterson call his left hand? There you go. Now you've got it. So that's that power. See if you can do that with the palm of your hand, so that you see the tendency. Once you get into the palm of the hand, now there's this efferent kind of idea where you want to do things with the hand.
Oh, okay.
So to go here, put the energy in the palm of your hand and allow the hand to receive it. Wait, there we go. See how the hand wants to push back?
Yes.
So you can avoid pushing back here. It's very easy. Mm-hmm. The outside of the arm can do that. Even if you have this shape, right? You can maintain that centripetal point. Right? You're there. But here, as soon as you do that, you start to grip, to send neurons out to the hand, to tell the muscles to do stuff. Yeah. Whereas what you want to do instead is receive the neurons from the hand to the brain to tell you how to align the body with that. Now I can't get through to you. Right? And I'm uprooted as soon as I try. So this is, there you go. Yeah, the shoulder, there you go. Yeah. So now I'm, oh, there you pulled. Now I could use the shoulder. So when you overcompensate, right? When I change sides, you made the mistake of changing direction.